All right, y'all, we live. We live. We live. All right. Well, what's
Yeah,
going on, everybody? This is our first
says it right over
listening party
there.
for the Big World Project for the iconography by Timon. So this is gonna be an interesting little hangout because I never did a listening party before. So this should be fun.
So
Um,
James, maybe we could just do some brief self-introductions of the panel while people start joining.
okay. Well, let's start with you, Timon. Introduce yourself just in case everybody don't know who you are. So introduce yourself
Okay.
and just go to the next person. I did pick out the next person.
Yeah, I will introduce the next person and then we'll keep going it that
That's
way.
fine. That's cool.
Okay, so Tim and Wes here, if you didn't know. Iconography, which we'll be listening to tonight, is my sixth solo project. I did several projects with Deep Dick Collective. My sixth solo album, it was released initially in October, and I'm happy to have two people who helped collaborate on the project, Damien Nova, who was on one of the songs that we played, and then Ceedro, who actually operated as an executive producer on the project, is on most of the background vocals on many songs, and a collaborator on several songs that we'll hear tonight. So that's it for me, and I'm going to kick it to Ceedro.
Hey everybody, this is Ceedro here. Like Tim M said earlier, definitely proud to have been on his latest album, executive produced and vocals and stuff. Singer-songwriter from Baltimore, Maryland. Definitely just glad to be here. I'll definitely just pass this one on to Damien. No? Okay, I'll pass it on to Larry.
Hey, what's going on? Lawrence D. Goodwin, aka L-Boogie. That's with three O's because I'm always out of order. Basically, I'm 38 years old, hailing from New York, but living down here in the ATL. I love music. Music has been my passion. Like to work with people who like to listen, like to put it out as well. Be on the lookout for, if you follow me on Facebook. I just keep it simple as it is. And last but not least, Damien Nova.
Damon, are you muted?
I think so.
Damon, I think your mic is muted, so because it has a little X across it. Ah, there you
Okay.
go. You're on now.
I am trying to figure out. Oh, echoes. Yes.
There you go.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. Hello.
Yes, sir. We hear you.
You hear me, but you can't see me now. See, you
We
know
know.
what?
I see you and I hear you.
I'm fucking up.
We see
Wait
you
a
just
minute.
fine.
You good?
I'm not. Okay. Anyway,
You are good. You are good.
I'm here, I guess, in voice. My name is Damien Nova, and I worked on the iconography project, and he begged me to be on it. No, I'm kidding. He just really politely asked me to be on it, and I was more than willing. Been hankering to work with Tim for a long time, and you know, it just happened. It was kismet. It was great. And I don't know. I've been in the industry since the '90s, so I'm not even going to go into everything. So there it is. Oh, damn camera! I'm gonna wait a minute. Boop, watch. Bam.
Oh. Well, before we kind of get into the listening project, I got a few questions that may can help people get to know y'all a little bit better. Like my first question is to Timon. Uh, what made you want to make another album? Like,
Oh wow. I mean, I've done solo albums probably every 2 years since my second. So, Songs from Red Dirt was in 2003. I took a little bit of a break in 2007. Black Boy Blues, 2009. Insecurity, 2011. Fly Brother, 2013. Snapshots, and so it was 2015. I was like, I'm in Atlanta. Am I gonna let another year pass, or I'm gonna keep with the pattern of having a new project every 2 years? And I think moving to Atlanta, it was a new place. I had moved back there, and so it just made sense. And I also was really inspired. I was hanging out a lot with Ceedro, who does music, and it just really kind of like got the juices going for like, hey, I not only have to do a project alone, but I have people here who also do music. And so, I pretty much just kidnapped him for a few months, and the project got done.
oh, okay. Well, my next question is for Ceedro and Damien.
Mm.
How was it working with Timon on this project with some of the songs?
I guess I'll go first since I started
Yeah.
making noise. It was actually really good. It was really great. It was a lot more than I expected, just because originally I met Timon years ago at a spoken word / like poetry type evening a few years ago during I believe Pride, right? Labor Day weekend in Atlanta. So I met him there, and I performed because he had asked me to perform. That was the first time I met him. So I had this idea for a song, and I just held on to it for years. So like he finally, I mean, not finally, but he moved back, and we connected a little bit more, and I was like, oh yeah, I had this song that I've always kind of wanted to do. I had you in mind as the person to collaborate with, and the song ended up being When. And so from that collaboration, he was like, well, what do you think about this? And so we started vibing off of other ideas and concepts, and then, I ended up being on a few more songs, and then before we knew it, my hand was in almost everything. So it was actually kind of like a long time coming, but it was something that I had in mind to do for a while with him. So it was great to finally achieve that.
Oh, okay. Damien?
Ceedro had more of a hands-on, experience with this project. I was one of those. I was in at the time I was in another city, and then when I recorded it, I was in another country. Then I had to send it to him, and then he had to send it back, and then I had to send it to him. It was one of those situations that it happens often, but it's one of those things where it went back and forth for a little while. Oh, is this right? Okay, is this what you wanted? And then I was confused. And then he corrected me, and it was one of those. So it was easy. It's one of the easiest collabs via email that I've ever had. Usually it's can you do this verse different? Can you change this line? I need you to change. But he really told me to just write it. He said write it. Like he sent me the track and was like, write it. I was like,
Yeah, and
write
I
what?
I could tell he wasn't used to collaborating like that, because I had the music, and I was like, look, whatever you want to do, just do it and leave me a space to collaborate. And it ended up, like, I even came up with some initial lyrics, and he was like, Tim, I'm going to change a few things. And pretty much he just took over the song and made it great. And so
Wait a minute! I didn't take over the song. Don't do that.
You are the song. You are gospel. I'm just like, it's like gospel is Damien Nova featuring Tim trying to sing.
That was not. Don't do that. That was not the intention, and it was really. I wrote it, and I was like, okay, well, I'll write it, and he said, yeah, just do stuff at the end, and I'm like. you do know who you're talking to. Like, there is no way that I'm just gonna do stuff at the end. And I really did just try to do stuff and let him just sort of. I was like, okay, well, he's gonna do a bunch of stuff too, so I'm just gonna let. I said, you can erase whatever you want. You cannot keep. If you don't want to keep my verse, you don't have to. This is what I had, and he kept every single note that I did, and I was like. Okay, is this my song? What's happening? But no, it's a great song. The track is amazing. Ceedro, did you make that track?
No, I did not.
Okay. The track is great. I'm a sucker for old school house music, so the subject matter was great. I guess I was allowed free range to write whatever I wanted. Just be glad I didn't write exactly what's always in my brain, especially when I'm high. So that would have been a different song, baby. Yeah, no, it was great. I've been, like I said, I've been dying to work with him forever, and our paths just have not connected. So yeah, it was awesome.
And I think it's worth saying, James, that like I started in the music industry in a group. So I had been doing, my first few albums were with DDC, and for me, like I've been dying to do projects where I could share the stage with people again. Because I'm getting older, I can't hold the stage the way I used to. So being able to perform with Ceedro and Damien recently has just been it's like done something for me in terms of my energy as a performer.
Oh, okay. I want to do a little disclaimer because Google Hangouts is trying to mess up right now. So if any of y'all watching have any questions, please put your questions on the event page. I'll be checking it constantly. So if you have any questions at all for the artist, for Timmy, please leave it on the event page. Okay.
Is it not allowing people in the chat, or how does that work? I don't even know.
Right now, there's 3 people in the chat. I'm trying to get more because they're trying to find the event and everything, so I'm trying to get more.
Oh,
all right.
You know those iPhone people. But you're on your computer. Don't do that.
Okay, we trying to game you, not lose them. Okay. Okay. This question for Timmy. What made this album different than all the rest of your albums you've done in the past?
Good question.
I would say it's not so different. I will say it was a return. My first project, Songs from Red Dirt, I experimented with electronica, house, hip hop, old school, new school, and I think there was some pressure after that album to kind of stick with just one thing. And so I think in a lot of my albums after that, I kind of just went more strictly hip hop. And this is a project where I was like, no, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna do house. I'm gonna do hip hop. I'm gonna do ballads, and I'm gonna make it all work on one project. So in some way, I feel like iconography was a return to my original form and how I like to do music. I don't have to choose to just stick with hip hop. Working with Ceedro and his singing behind, and Damien kind of forced me to also do a lot more singing on this project. So when I look at the scope of the project, 10 songs and then a clean version or something, like there are only 5 songs of rap on it. The other 5 songs are either vocal or spoken word. Right. So that's really interesting. Like you can look at iconography and say it's not a true rap album, but I just think like being an early hip hop head, I'm from back in the day when Tribe and Jungle Brothers and whoever, they had house music and hip hop in the same project, and it wasn't not seen as a hip hop project. And I'm sure that's something L-Boogie can speak to.
Definitely. Definitely when I heard the album, like you referred to your first one, where you gave a little bit of everything. Iconography was kind of like what LL Cool J said, his first lines to Mama Said Knock You Out. Don't call to come back. I've been here for years. It was just like hey, what's going on? I've been here. I didn't stay with the course that you thought I was going to stay with because there's more variety, there's more sides to me. And that's what iconography brought to me, was back to that first album, to where there's the house, there's the hip hop, there's the spoken word, all the things that make you up. So it's kind of like an anthology, if you will, when it comes to that. And that's what I appreciate about it. You just didn't stick to one thing. And that's what kept my ear listening. So it says, okay, we got this, we got this, we got this. But yeah. So, yeah, I appreciate that about the album. It just didn't stay at one place.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It did not stay in one place. Like, one was a love song, one was gospel, one was talking about events today. There was a whole lot of variety in this album. I really love that. One of the questions I want to know, I don't know if the fans want to know, how did you come up with the name Iconography? Like, where did that come from?
So it's interesting because your first question was like, why did you make another album? And it's interesting because, you know, I kind of hit that mode where it's like, I've done a lot of music, you know, between DDC's work and my own solo work, you know, it's 10 albums plus a lot of collaborations. And you hit that point where you start professionalizing in terms of your career. You're like, you know, am I still going to do music? And so for me, it was like, yeah, I'm still going to do music. You know, I'm not done. I'm not going to retire. But it was also a way of sort of patting myself on the back and saying, you know what, you've already made a mark in the hip hop industry. You know, you were a pioneering LGBT hip hop artist when there wasn't a lot of people doing it. Incidentally, I was named 2015 LGBT icon during LGBT History Month. There weren't any other hip hop artists there, so that wasn't like, it wasn't like I followed that. It was like they happened to name me icon that year, right as the album was being put out. So I just felt like it was like symphonious, like it was meant to happen, and that I wanted a project that would kind of represent the kind of legendary pioneering career that I've had thus far. And I really think it's, you know, it's, to me, it's my most solid project, and I think in part because of some of the collaborations. So I'm hoping we can actually start listening to some of the music and let people kind of chat in and talk about, you know, because I've never really talked even with some of the collaborators about some of the things that they are hearing on the project. So I'm ready to get on with that part.
Okay. Well, we can go ahead and jump onto the music if everybody's ready. You can jump on to the first song right now. The first song is Iconography. So let's have a listen.
I'm a grown man growing up, my trajectory. I'm a little bit city and a big country boy, that's who I be. I'm a blues and jazz and hip hop rhythm, don't you wanna dance with me? The most famous MC you never heard of, Iconography. Born in the nat, over the Rhine, rebirthed in the city where the river runs dry, yet full of water for tears of the broken. Underground railroad and freedom song getting us open. Politics and Midwest corruption, race rioting, building spoken for culture. 1836, 67, 2011. Talk acting like we in a post-racial heaven. That's 175 years we still black. Yet black folks still get shot. Who do the math in the Cincinnati? The nasty, the figures should not be a caddy. First memories of living on Rick Street when you get getting crippled to eat. That's not calculus. The racial angst in the city where I was born. Who would have guessed? Icon. Who would have guessed? Icon. I'm a grown man growing up, my trajectory. I'm a little bit city and a big country boy, that's who I be. I'm a blues and jazz and hip hop rhythm, don't you wanna dance with me? The most famous MC you never heard of, Iconography. Iconography. Then South Dallas, Oak Cliff, neglect in a hot city, not feeling too hot. Texas childhood abuses, homeless, hungry. Mama walking street to throw kids no money. Eventually we found the spot over the state line. Pigs sweet like in the Rock. That's Little Rock, the biggest city in the north side with mandatory football teams and beer punk. But it really wasn't there because I was really rather busy. But Dad with a strict plan to make sure none of his boys would be sissies, especially me. Oh, fuck, proper severe, just like Mama. And if she wasn't timid, then I'd ask, yes, you can. With the 4 girls, so I learned to box a black queer, Highland for Little Rock. I'm a grown man growing up. The trajectory. I'm a little bit in a big country boy. That's who I be. I'm a blues and jazz and hip hop rhythm. Don't you wanna dance with me? The most famous MC you ever heard of. ICONography. To a small town where there was less stressing, killing and God-wheeling, gang violence and blood spilling. People protected in the red dirt bubble of 870. Taylor, Arkansas, real slow. A town barely on the map. Fewer gun claps, other side of the track, town white over black. Lots of trips where I question my work, ask God why I be cursed with them. The burdens I would carry, fast freight carriage, do everything to read the feeling that had me, the meaning, the joy I felt dreaming when I crushed on guys, ideations of suicide. But I listened to a voice that said you are a spider in a fight. One day you'll find others who feel the same. Icon, people gonna know your name. I'm a grown man growing up. My trajectory. I'm a little bit country boy. That's who I be. I'm a blue famous MC.
You better sing it, Damien.
Oh no!
We heard you.
No, I didn't. No, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to do that.
But, I really feel it from when I first hear the song. I get a southern feel automatically from it. What do you think? I forget names that quick. What do you think, Lawrence, about this song?
First thing that comes to me when I first heard iconography is like any album that a person comes out with. Number one, you want to basically hit them with who you are, where you've been, etc., where you come from. So it's basically, like a personal resume of what you've been through, or how you started. This particular record is that, okay, sometimes the music may be overpowering and it'll just basically take away from what you're listening to, supposed to be listening to, which is the words. So it's actually a good blend with that. It says, okay, you're taking me on a journey, you're taking me on a road from point A to point B. So that's like the best thing that you want to do on a person's on an album, period. This is introduce myself. Hello, my name is. So that's what that was kind of like for me.
Okay. Let's go to Damien. What's your thoughts about the song?
That thing funky. I mean, lit. It's funky. I mean, I come from that space, that funk space, that space where a guitar and a bass line will make me want to just take off all my clothes and get sweaty. Like, I love the funk, man. I love the funk. And he is, like, Tim M has always been so funky to me. And his first project, because I remember your first solo project, and I was like, who the fuck? Like, who is this sounding like Isaac Hayes?
Yeah.
Up on my like, who is this? And people, we have so many mutual friends that it was like everybody was like, oh well, yeah, that's Tim M. And then I saw his name, I was like, Tim, to me. Is he African? Because I thought the whole thing, because anyway. But so then that was explained to me, and so this song, it took me back to that moment where it was like, yeah, that motherfucker funky, yeah. But that thing funky as shit. Yeah, that's like one of my favorite songs on the whole project.
Okay. Ceedro, what's your thoughts?
I think it's great. I think it's so rare that you have a title track that actually lives up to the actual album. So I'm glad that I was able to be a part of it, and even I was in the studio with you. So I mean, like sitting there and watching it come together and listening to them in the booth, spitting the verses and stuff like that. It was kind of awesome because it was like, finally, I have like a title track that I can list. Like anytime somebody's like, what's your favorite title track? This is definitely going to be one of those, at the top. So I was just glad that I had the low harmony in the hook, and that's my thing. I was just like almost like a groupie.
Now I'm jealous.
I totally agree with Lawrence. It takes you on a journey. As soon as you put on the headphones and listen to it, you can close your eyes and go on the journey.
It's kind of funny
because I'm a visual person. So when I listen to music, I automatically visualize what they're trying to speak of in the song. So when I listen to iconography, it did take me on a journey. I love that about music. So,
I think it's also interesting. The part of the hook came from a hashtag that I came up with, which is grown man growing up, and I think that also speaks to kind of like having humility about your experience. Like I'm still learning, I'm still growing. I'm not like I haven't figured it all out. And I think it's one of the things that people, when I've done shows and I've done the song, that's the one line people remember. Grown man growing up. It just kind of sticks in people's heads. So. Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go ahead and go to the next track, which is gospel.
Sometimes when I'm down, I find myself on DJ spinning downtown. The church and congregation, a place of joy. The love of the people, no matter our differences, we are equal. As one to the river, the gospel flows. The joyful Lord, the song of praise, ever afraid and so amazed. Spirit truly lift the voice, my dad is gospel. You can't fight it. You gotta have a few can't deny it. But I know that is Lord, I'm calling you. Sweet communion, wedding wine and consecrating union. You in rhythm, a sacred groove. The Lord is song of praise, never afraid and so amazed. Spirit, we lift our voice, my dance is gospel. These days, the closest I get to God is on the dance floor. My spirit led to dance or weep or celebrate this energy greater than what I can myself muster. Some source of strength that exceeds even my own understanding. It is rhythmic. It is redemptive. It is loving. It is the nature and essence of God. It's gospel. The joyful Lord, the song of praise, and the refrain and soul man. Spiritually lift the voice, my dear, this gospel. Gonna use this gospel. Gonna use this gospel. Gonna use this
But I get church beat, house music. I love it. I can see this being played at the barbershop, at church, at the family dinners. I can see this being played everywhere. It's so upbeat. I love it. So let me go to Damien, since he was on the track. I would love to get your experience of doing this song.
Say what?
Who did you ask? James? Damien?
Uh-huh.
I guess your opinion on the song, well, you kind of talked about it a little bit.
You know what's funny? When he sent me the title of the song, I immediately was like, no. like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, he just sent me the title. He's like, yeah, it's a track called Gospel. No, I don't want to do that. But then he told me what it was about, and I was like, oh, okay, I could do that. You know, I'm so glad that it wasn't what I thought it was in the first. Because I'm not anti-gospel music, but I'm so not even kind of in the realm that my mindset is not even in the realm where I could be talking about anything gospel music related. So when it said gospel, I was like, this is a bad time to be kind of. When he telling me the church, like as in church. Oh, the club is church. I got it. So yeah, it was way more interesting once I got the information of what to write, and then he just said write, and I was like, okay. So, but no, it was great. I love the song. It's my second favorite song on the. I love iconography. I'm sorry, I just do, and I'm jealous that Ceedro is like doing the backgrounds on that, like all the way. Jealous. There are a couple of songs in here I'm jealous of, so I might get to hear them. And I'm like, I wanted to be on. Can I be on that too? Can we do a remix? Yeah, because I'm a total groupie. I'm a total Tim M groupie. So, I am a groupie. I'm a quiet groupie. I don't be on his inbox like I'm sure he gets. But I'm like, I just I'm like, oh. Yeah, but I love the song. It's great. The track is dope. Is the person who produced it in the group? Are they here?
No, he's not. Rob Rhythm. Actually, been this straight friend of mine from San Francisco was like, I got some stuff for you, and he's really the one that really encouraged me to get back into doing house and vocals. So, when I heard it, I don't know, something about the drums of it, like the kind of the drum tribal rhythm, just kind of put me in the mindset of like church and dancing, and so I was like, yeah, gospel. So this one actually it's literally started with a title. We didn't even really, he was like, do you have the lyrics? I was like, no.
He had 4 lines. He had 4 lines.
I had 4 lines.
They did not, like, what I did was I morphed your 4 lines into actual lyrics, because they weren't lyrics. they were random, like, coherent thoughts.
Statements.
Yeah, when I read them, I was like, yeah.
I was like,
let me get right on that.
Floor, sweat, shirt.
Yeah. It gave me an a outline, but it was so not lyrics at all. And he tried to write a chorus and everything. That's what it was. You wrote the chorus,
and I was like, rewrote the chorus.
This doesn't really work. Just rhythmically, it just didn't. Right. It didn't work rhythmically. It was fine lyrically, but it was rhythmically. It didn't work for the house music song. And he's such a hip hop artist. It's so funny. He's such a hip hop artist that he probably would have made it work in rhythmically in the song, but because I'm like, look, motherfucker, you want me to sing this? Like I'm supposed to find a rhythm in all this gobbledygook. Okay, let me go ahead and help you out real quick. But no, it was pleasant. It's definitely, again, one of the most pleasant collabs I've ever done, and I hope we can work again on something. Because I'm so written out because I have 2 projects out right now. I have an album out and an EP out that came out both at the beginning of this year. So it's like I am so you can't ask me to sign my name at this point, but it's like I'm totally in the future, absolutely. When we both get to a common place, and I want to come there. I want to be in Atlanta so we can actually collab. Shit, we might come up with a whole EP. I mean, but because I produces too, and pull Ceedro into that bitch, Because I want to work with Ceedro too, and when I saw him on the project, I was like, okay, wait a minute. All the people I want to work with is on this hoe. Let me go ahead and just what I'm saying. So now that because me and Ceedro we know other, I know people that know Ceedro, and I'm sure he knows people that know Ceedro, so it's sort of we've sort of been in crossing with that too, but I've never reached out because I'm such an introvert and I'm an asshole, so it's I have to take time, it takes physical energy for me to reach out to people and want to collab, so this is good for me. This is healthy. This is this is healthy for me, being amongst the fellas and doing this. And I'm not high. I don't have any mushrooms in I got a show in an hour, so I can't be too high. But yeah, I'm about to get there in a minute. But no, I love the song. I want to do something else, not non-house music related, because as soon as I pull house out of my ass, it's gonna be a whole different story, baby. It's gonna be no gospel.
I love how the song actually slows down and Timmy does the spoken word portion.
Yes.
Yes.
How did you come up with that? Was that thought out from the beginning, or did you just put that in at the last minute?
Well, it was interesting because you know how house producers, they can do very long songs, and so there's a change in the song musically at that point. It shifts a little bit. The music kind of de-intensifies, becomes softer, and I was like, this is a perfect place to add some spoken word to give some context to why I'm talking about gospel. And actually, what's really interesting is the phrase that I speak is actually a passage from my latest book, Predispositions. So I was actually able to integrate lyrics, or it was actually just an essay that I wrote about house music and religious experience or spiritual experience. I was able to integrate something from my book into that song. And I did that in a few different instances on the project. My book came out in April. ICONography came out in October, so they're kind of complements to each other.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, that.
I would like to hear Lawrence's thoughts about.
I didn't know what to think when I saw the title of the song, which was gospel, because it went two ways. It says, okay, are we really dealing about religion? Is he going to like attack religion in one way? And then I thought about the hip hop way, and I says how we connect, and I says, you know what, there has to be another context to it, or it had to be a simile, or it had to be a metaphor. And when it hit me, and I says, okay, I heard the vocals, and it was those words that you said. These I think was it these days. Now I get closer to God on the dance floor. That's what summed it up. Everything for me. So I said, okay, now I connect to it. The beat was nice. I guess now that it took me back to college days or even my teenage days when I would hear house from various clubs that I was told that there was play house and that I experienced it myself. So it took me there and it took me to a good place. And I said, I like this song than one. More reasons than one, so I enjoyed it.
And I know we have to get to some other songs here, but Damien, are you able to chat in the Damien actually was able to record us performing this song live in Austin.
Oh.
So maybe you can chat in the link if people are interested in seeing that later. It's actually a pretty good performance. And it's funny you mentioned L-Boogie. At the end of the song, I actually added the Rob bass, I'm gonna rock right now.
Rock right now. Okay. I heard that and I says, I know, I took my medicine, I took my Seroquel, so, sometimes I have my auditory hallucinations. So I said, wait a minute, played it again, and I said, I'll run around. Oh, ain't that some ish? Yeah. Okay. Definitely like that. Yeah.
I'm looking for it.
Okay, cool. But we can move on, James.
Okay. So the next song we're about to play is called Weather.
Ooh. Okay.
Weather.
I like the sun, reminds me of your warm embrace, your sun, your smile, when I'm with you.
I like the rain, don't mind it when we have to stay inside all night. Just me and you.
Whether or not
it's rainy or sunny,
whether or not
the clouds go my way.
whether or not
I'm happy to be with you, baby, 'cause you make my day. Whether or not
it's rainy or sunny,
whether or not
the clouds go my way.
whether or not
I better be with you, baby, 'cause you make my day. Ooh. And like the sun, the heat of passion burns inside an eternal flame. 'Cause I'm with you.
and like the rain, I watch the drops of sweat from your body to mine. Only with you.
Whether or not
It's rainy or sunny,
whether or not
the clouds go my way.
whether or not
I'm happy to be with you, baby, 'cause you make my day. Whether or not
it's raining or sunny,
whether or not
the clouds go my way.
whether or not
I better be with you, baby. 'cause you make my You shake me like an earthquake. You spin me like a twister. Gotta prepare for your love like a hurricane. Your love blows me away. You lift me like a sandstorm. Make me tremble like we don't get your arms around me, safe and warm. Let the sun shine or the rain come. Whether or not it's raining or sunny, whether or not the clouds go my way, whether or not I'm having to be with you, baby, 'cause you make my day. Whether or not it's raining or sunny, whether or not the clouds go my way, whether or not happy to be with you, baby, 'cause you make my day. Ooh.
Whatever.
Like I said, I totally get no song from this, but I would love to hear your thought process of writing this song, Timmy.
I guess what was interesting for me was, you know, I wrote it. I mean, it was the concept for the song was two people in a relationship that like different things. Like one likes the sun and when it's sunny, the other one likes it when it's rainy, but they somehow work it out together, you know, and they find that common ground. And I think for me, like, you know, you don't hear a lot of romantic songs between men in music, period. And so while in some ways I think it's interesting that a lot of people have read the song, someone was like, oh, I thought both of y'all were singing about your girls. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. You know, I guess there are a lot of different ways you can read it, but for me, you know, it was an opportunity to do a duet with a guy and to really celebrate like the fact that, like, you know, men have romance too with each other, and this is one of the ways that we do it. Ceedro, I don't know what your thought process was around it.
I thought it was a really nifty idea. I mean, sometimes you hear music and you're like, this would be really cool if this was sung with two guys. One of the songs that comes to mind immediately is Usher's Trading Places, but but this was a really cool concept. I loved like being a part of doing something like that. And then we even performed it at the bookstore. I forget the name off the top of my head.
Paris.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and so it was a really cool experience to be able to expose other people to music like that. I think too often we don't have that type of exposure in our music. You know, you go to for example, I mean, this wasn't an upbeat song, but, you know, you go to a gay club and they still play heterosexual music. And so I always think it's really interesting that, you know, we don't have a lot of representation in our own stuff. So it was really cool to be able to be a part of something like this, to sing that, to work out the kinks in the bridge where we kind of alternated and then came in with harmony. Like, that was really cool. I think it turned out really, really well. So I'm happy that I was a part of that.
Okay. Damien, I would love to hear your thoughts about this.
No, it's a great song. I think, I mean, it's one of them hand dance songs, you know. It's one of them cabaret songs where you up in there with your purple suit on, and you know you got your Long Island iced tea and your hand dancing with, you know, the person you love. It reminds me of that. A lot of this album reminds me of when I was coming up in the industry in the 90s. It really reminds me of that 90s. That R. Kelly well, R. Kelly before we knew he was but sorry, no censor. It reminds me of that time where romantic music was a thing. Even though we still get it every now and then, it's not as mainstream as it was when Freddie Jackson and Phyllis Hyman was doing it, and we still had no representation back then. The funny thing is that Rasan Patterson does a lot of this music, and I nodded when he said, "Oh, it's about how you absorb it, how you digest it." Because he doesn't really use pronouns anymore. He used to, because he was trying to fit in, especially in the early parts of the industry. But he does not use pronouns anymore. And I actually emailed him about that, and I appreciated him for not using pronouns anymore. Every now and then he'll throw one in there if he's talking about something specific. But for the most part, when he's really just talking about it's love, it's baby, them, you, it's never her, he. She or anything like that, and I think that has its place, but I feel like there needs to be a solid representation of same gender loving romance. The word is in it, loving, same gender loving. Why don't we have enough same gender loving love stuff? And it feels so good coming from a grown up place, because there's so many kids out here writing about how fat their ass is because of Beyonce. And don't get me wrong, I love Beyonce, but it's only so much of that I can digest before it's like, okay, we get it. You with that, we got it. But the grown folks music is it's lacking, and I want to be a part of that. It's just my brain doesn't really take me there all the time. But I want to be a part of that, while at the same time appreciate people like Damien and Ceedro that are actually trying to do something that is representative of a very specific and not as ghost as we would like to think it, because we get all these posts of, oh, well, can gay relationships work? Do black gay relationships work? And can people be together? Is there romance in gay relationships anymore? With all these things being thrown at us, and I mean, all of my gay friends are in relationships, and they've been in relationships for 15, 20 years, so I'm like, yeah, I don't know what y'all doing, but yeah, they work, but there's no music that talks about it, and this song is so pretty. Like, it's one of those songs where it's like pretty. Not insane, it was funny. Yes, that's.
But I also know that you did a play on words with weather. Was that planned, or was it?
I'm sorry, I'm hearing like okay.
Somebody vacuuming?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, vacuuming going on.
Somebody's vacuuming.
I don't mind.
Okay.
Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, so what was the question?
Yeah.
I said, I noticed you did a play on words.
Oh, yeah, right. Whether or not, yeah. So yeah, that was definitely a play, because it's really about saying, I'm gonna hang in here with this person, even if we don't agree. Even if it's raining and I'm happy and ready to get it on, and they waiting for the sun to come out. It's funny, because I think when as Ceedro mentioned at the end of the song, when we go back and forth, it was kind of like trying to remember which storm the other person referred to. So we got the earthquake in there and the hurricane in there. Yeah, so that was fun. That was fun. It's like, which one lifts? Is that a sandstorm or a tornado?
Right.
Well, before we go to the next song, I would love
Okay, who's doing the Hooverizer? That's one of the things that I think, Damien, you had stressed, to where we don't hear love songs anymore. We hear lust songs. Everything that's basically, parts of the reproductive system, and, this appendage is this long, or, Stanley tape measure, whatever it is. They just it's just surface where when I heard "Don't Look at It," just about love. Damien also mentioned that it wasn't even gender specific. It was just about love because love is in various forms. Love is love. So why front on it? Why can't we write things that? So why can't we come back with certain things like this anymore? So you kind of reintroducing to the generation and says, we were talking about love. Yeah, see, y'all talk about the whole conception type first steps of it, where it feels so innocent, where it feels so refreshing, where it feels good. So I definitely appreciate this record as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Ceedro and Tim, for that record. Thank you.
It's not a breakup song. You know, there's so many breakup songs. There's so many K Michelle's out there that they're so pissed. They're so mad. And I'm gonna break the windows out your car. It's like, girl, okay, you know. And it's like even the gay artists that are gay, LGBT, whatever they want to call themselves, even they are like, that's all I hear is how angry they are in the relationship. It's like, was you ever happy? Was you only happy when he was between your legs? Like, I'm trying to help me. Can you write a song about how happy you were? I mean, wait.
Yeah, I think it's easier when it comes to the songwriting process. I've seen people belt out so many things to a break or divorce or anything that is the demise of their relationship for them to come out with the album. I've heard this about one female artist that says, "Oh, she got divorced," so everyone says, "Oh, you know, the new album that's going to drop is going to be crazy because you get all that emotion." Well, you have more emotions than anger. Yeah, we're easy to channel those negative emotions, but what about the positive ones?
Everybody wants to be Mary J. Blige. That's, you know,
but it's interesting because I just chatted in when
I wasn't referring to her, but okay.
Seriously though, when Mary J. Blige is happy, people don't like her music.
Oh no!
They love it when she is sad and going through it.
Right. They want that.
Even though her last like 4 projects have been like the best work she has ever put out ever, and My Life is an incredible record, but My Life is not all sad if people remember with the whole damn record. Like some of it at the end, like some of the end there is real nice. It ain't all sad, girl. You know, but I'm appreciative of this song. I don't write enough love songs because I'm not an R&B artist, so it comes that comes from a very specific place. You know, that R&B love song thing comes from a very specific place, and you know, I write about love from a different angle, but usually from a dark corner. But I do appreciate the song. It's great. It's yeah. What you write?
Well, we can go ahead and jump on to the next song, which is called When.
I don't understand the plan, but God willing, hope to see the day we end this blood spilling. No, when, even though there's just no telling when it will be, everything in God comes alive eventually. When, Unstark moment of silence for the unlucky ones who had to leave this world way before enough was done. Luckily for us, people rest in their comfort zones, pretending like the nice enough is ever wrong. The kids are killing food. Where's the innocence? Crimes are glorified and posted on the internet. They get millions of hits. Don't say you haven't clicked, but we avoid the fact that we just stop the statistics. So fuck a disorder. It's a real attention deficit. Fuck the reporters that never mention the incidents. Look, this is the order that leads to gross negligence. Do what you order. to beat the ignorance, call attention, sign petitions, picket signs, and brick the trenches. Slow offense for quick defenses. We the problem, let's prevent it. So us ain't stopping shit. So it's over. I don't understand the plan, but God willing. Hope to see the day we end this blood spilling over. Even though there's no telling when the day begins, everything in darkness comes to light eventually.
When I say I'm killing it, conscious verbal warfare, so cats be feeling it like ape wives. My lyrical combat's a metaphorical ride or die. I'm pediatric, baby, get your life. Cause I don't want nothing for my people but prosperity. We shoot and kill each other with regularity. Forgetting we're brothers and sisters grinding for some parity. In a world that's more comfortable with black people disparities. The truth first, but we can envision destitute things at birth. It's time we get tired of being first. In every statistical category where we go. You wanna get free? Let me give you a free verse. Why can't we stand for something when we falling for what's first? Settling for hell on earth instead of spiritual rebirth. So Black Lives Matters to you, show your worth. Black love should matter to you, so get to work.
I don't understand the plan, but God willing. Hope to see the day we end this blood spilling over. Even though there's just no telling when the end will be, everything in darkness comes to light eventually. When will we learn?
When will we learn? When will we learn?
Yeah.
I don't need to be longer. I love it. But this song has such a message. It talks about today's world, like you said in the song, Black Lives Matter, kids killing kids, black people killing black people. My question to Tim is, what made you want to write this or, talk about this?
I mean, I think, Ceedro pretty much came up with the concept, had the beat, and introduced it to me. But what really resonated with me was that what I liked about the message is that
love, here we go.
At that time, there was a lot of discussion about police violence against, black men, which is important to talk about. But it was one of those songs that said, hey, we play a role in this too. Like, you look at, and Ceedro's from Baltimore, so you look at the number of murders, black men on black men. It's just like after. After Gray, was murdered, it's just, I think it's like we don't have to go one thing versus the other. We need to be talking about both, and we also need to take responsibility in our own community for the violence that we perpetuate against each other. So to me, that was a message I definitely wanted to get behind.
Okay. Ceedro, I definitely want to hear your you went hard.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but this song was the one that I wanted to do with him years ago, that I kind of held on to. And so when we connected again, I was like, okay, so there's this song, and this is what I feel like the hook should be, or I wanted the hook to be, and this was the verse that I kind of came up with, and I wanted you to, do something on it. And, he heard it, and he was like, yeah, this actually has so much relevance now. And he was like, and you're saying that you did this like a while ago? And I was like, yeah. And so, he came up with something super quick, and we put it down. And I think it was one of the first songs, if not the first song, that we put down for iconography. So for me, it was just the idea that I love how Tim M can relate, still have that social conscious message in his music. And so that's why this song resonated with me as something I wanted to work with him on, and no one else, which is, I guess, why I ended up holding on to it for so long. But I was just glad that I was able to do it, and it's interesting that it still has a message today. A lot of times you come up with a song that's kind of socially conscious, and a few years from then, that's no longer a social conscious issue. So, it's great. Like mine was a little bit more general, a little bit more solely introspective. And then his definitely brought it home with, you know, Black Lives Matter and other things that are happening a little bit more currently. But then he also extrapolates to like the bigger picture too. So I think it just came together really, really well. And I, you know, wasn't sure if our styles were gonna mesh well, but like I had a vision, he had a vision, we made it work. So
Yeah.
And I just chatted in too. Like, I actually went back into the studio because the first take I did of my verse, I have a tendency, being a preacher's kid, to sound very preachy in that very like young black, in that very I think about X-Clan or Poor Righteous Teachers or even Chuck D from Public Enemy, and I was like, I don't want to be that old school rapper that's like preaching. So I went back in and I told Ceedro, I was like, I want to soften, like have a sense of humor, so that like adding things like I'm pediatric, baby, get your life, you know, was a way of like having a sense of humor with a very serious topic. And so I'm glad that I was pushed to go back in and kind of redo that, because the first time I did it, it was very like, you know, I'm the preacher of hip hop. Let me tell you young people what to do. And I didn't want to come off like that.
I'm glad you brought that up. Ceedro, you answered a couple of questions for me. You said you had because I think this was the first song that I ever heard from Tim M's project, or even know that Tim M was coming out with a project, and it was When. I heard it on SoundCloud, and you answered the question and said you've held on to the track, meaning that you probably already arranged in which how you wanted it, and then asked him to be on it. And it reminded me of one song, and one song that came out, I guess, was in 2001, Renegade with Jay-Z and Eminem. Mm-hmm. They gave me towards. That was the thing that happened with them, to where M had already had the track down. All he wanted to do was actually put Jay on it, but it also resonates that same message. It says people look up to us, people look at us. So us being responsible, we want to, you know, do something right, but yet at the same time, if we end up doing something wrong, we have to be accountable for it as well. So when I heard the when we ever learn part, that's what resonated to me. When I heard that, it says, okay. And in 3 words just came to me. Ceedro had. I didn't know that, because I didn't know that, you know, you rhyme too, because I had heard some of your stuff previously, like 2012, 2013, and I just knew of that. So when it was like, so I know Tim M's voice, but who's that? Oh, that's Ceedro? Oh, okay. Fine, but I like that song too. I like it. I appreciate it for that. There was like, okay, Ceedro's there, but it's Tim. Yeah, so the whole collaboration was definitely good. Definitely good.
Thank you.
All right. Damien,
I'm gonna be 100. This song inspired me to do the EP that I did directly after Gold. I get, you know, sometimes as artists we get so cerebral, if that's the word I'm looking for, but we get in our own heads and sometimes we can't see the world around us. And I was listening to that, because I'm gonna be honest, the first time you sent me Iconography, I was scared to listen to it, because I was like, am I ready for this? I was reading the titles, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this quite yet. And after I put out Gold and finished my album and everything, I was like, okay, I can listen to this now. And I listened to it, and this song, I was like, damn it, now I gotta put out an EP, fuck, because this song, and you know what's funny about the content, you know, is so, as black men, it is so, this is sad, but it's never ending. This is something that it could have been talked about in 1976, 1983, 1995. It's not new, you know, and it's not something. It's a timeless. It's a timeless issue that we're dealing with. It's almost, oh God, it's almost traditional with this country now. But it's like, you know, So we can always talk about these things because these things are always happening to us. It is never dated. It is never something that we can just say, oh, well, no, that happened in '96, but it's not happening now. Bullshit. There's stuff that people were talking about, that Pac was talking about, that Badu was talking about, that, you know, that it's still happening 10, 20, 15, 30 years later. It's ridiculous. So, you know, I was totally pissed off that y'all made me have to write a whole new EP for. Was totally upset. I was like, what? You know, but that's what you want. That's what you want. You as an artist, you want to be inspired by people that are actually saying something, not just, you know, by everything else, but just by people that are actually putting conscious things into the universe and are being conscious and are trying to wake people up about certain things while at the same time being entertaining about it. This song is entertaining. You know, listen, it's not it's not one of them songs where it's like, oh God, this is hard to listen to. You know, it's actually fun to listen to. The track is fun. The vocals are great. You know, the vocals are, fuck y'all. The vocals are great, and like I'm appreciative of the whole thing. So yeah, it's great, and I love the lyrics. The lyrics, ugh, they make my head hurt. That's it.
All right, we can go ahead and jump on to the next track, and this is the final song we're gonna listen to. It's called "Song."
Lay down with me, tell me what your heart beats. It seems unafraid. Can you feel the song it plays? A song for all your days. A song in season and there's a song for you always. Sometimes you get down if my heart's rerouted. Bloody mess, I must confess. Been through a few things, not naive as it used to be. Cynical, stubborn to memory. What happened? Why am I not butterflies, unicorns, and rainbows? Heaven only knows. Even Janet says that's the way love goes when it grows. So I'ma compose my own ode. No, I got bruises and scars, beautiful tattoos to you. So a brother gonna stay true. Accept me where I am. We make our own rules and got our own plans. Help me fly above the quicksand. Catch me when I land. So take my hand. Yeah, take my hand, my hand. So glad you're my man. Dance with me tonight. Ain't nobody here. Only know she plays a song for long days. A song with seasons there. And there's home with you always, 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 always.
I just want to know who did that awesome trippy music. That was amazing. I love the whole groove of the song.
Yeah. Who did the music on that? I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, you were asking who did the music on that?
Yes.
I chatted it in. It's Dirty Bird, who also did Iconography. The same producer did both of those.
I
You keep hearing that vacuum cleaner. What's going on with the vacuum cleaner?
But it is spring, so probably doing some little spring cleaning somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, he did the music, and I really like. I'm a trip hop head. I love trip hop. That kind of like spooky, almost dark. Like if you listen to the music by itself, it has a kind of dark feel to it. And I wanted to juxtapose that with a song that was more hopeful and optimistic and about love.
Oh,
It's a nice little blend. Yeah. But I definitely want to hear what other people think about that song.
You know I'm going there. I didn't know what to think, but only 2 words, and I guess Tim, because I guess you're a fan of them, I thought of Hiatus Coyote.
Yeah.
I thought of Hiatus Coyote when I was listening to them, and I tried to follow it, and I just said, okay, and I'm thinking Tricky from overseas. As well, and it was like a kind of blend of that. It was experimental, a little bit of EDM, a little bit of, like you said, the trip hop, and you accomplished it great. That's where it just took me. It just says, okay, normally I would listen to the words, but it was just the music that stuck out, and I said, okay. I got where you're going with, but it was just the music, and I just said, where have I heard? What kind of vibe have I heard this from? And I said, bam, Hiatus Coyote. That's it. So I'm a good fan of them anyway. So.
And it's interesting. I mentioned Portis here, which I think Damien definitely. I think it resonated with him as well, because that kind of spooky, dark, hip hoppy feeling. Absolutely.
Portis said, wow, okay, yeah.
Let's go to Ceedro, because I see his hand raised.
Oh, yes, please, pick me. I think it was great, because it's always, like, I love the fact, like you said earlier, Tim M, you said that you wanted to juxtapose that kind of almost creepy, like trip hop type vibe with something that came from a more pure place, and so I think that really lent itself to the character of this song. So I think that was a really great choice. So, like, when I listen to this, I also know, because at the time we were working on all of this stuff and, like, next to each other, like, coming up with, doing most of this stuff or listening to your ideas on your songs. So I definitely know that, like, this came from such a genuine place, and it feels like that. You can actually feel it coming off of the song. Like, when you hear it, you're like, this wasn't just someone cookie cuttering some love song. Like, this is a genuine place. And one of the things that like, every song that I listen to, whether it's something that I've created or not, I always there's always a favorite part of mine. And so in this song, my favorite part is the part where you've kind of, like, buttered people up to this really cool love song, and then you're like, I'm so glad you're my man, and it just goes right into the hook again. I was like, hit him with that. You just kind of drop the bomb a little bit, like, oh, you thought this was a heteronormative. Psych. And so I love when songs take things that you're familiar with and kind of flip them to a different perspective and give you something else to look at. And so this song for me was one of those songs.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because the placement of that part, by the time you really get into the song and you're grooving to it, and I say my man,
it's too late.
It's too late. It's too late. You done already said you like the song, so
right. You done already started slow dancing with your boo. Like, it's over now. It's over. All right.
I think the other thing, and Ceedro was definitely when you work on a project with somebody, they kind of move through life with you at the same time, and so I was in love when I wrote this song, and I was also dealing with relationship issues. One of the lines that stands out to me is, "Why am I not butterflies, unicorns, and rainbows?" Because at my age now, I'm a little more cynical. Like I'm not that floating away on a cloud love, but I also wanted to express it like love is also the hard stuff. It's also the uncertainty. It's also when you don't know. And I think for me, that's what this song is about. It's not pretty, perfect love. It's like, hey, I'm not that dude that imagines picnic baskets and ham sandwiches in Piedmont. But I am going to pay the bills and make sure we got a place to live.
All right. David, what's your thoughts about this?
That track is dumb. Listen. That track makes me mad, man. Because I know as artists, like it's sometimes you hear something and it's like, why don't I have that music in my possession? You know what I mean? Like, why? I could write to that. There's so many songs I have heard over the span of my lifetime where I'm like, that track is dumb. Why am I not on that track? Like, why do I not own that track so I can write to it? And that's one of them tracks. That track is dumb, and your vocals are impeccable on it. And I'm not a passer around of compliments when it comes to vocals. When it comes to vocals, like I don't pass them out because not everybody deserves them. But that your vocal and the people that do deserve them don't need the compliments because they don't know how to act once they get the compliment. But that your vocal performance on that is so clean. It's so right. Like it's not overdone. It's perfect for the track. The lyrics flow nicely with your vocals, and I'm speaking from a technical standpoint. It flows nicely with your vocals. The recording is beautiful, and it matches perfectly with that fucking track. That track, that track. It takes me to my incognito. I can't even. I could go on, but it's so Herbie Hancock. Like it needs like somebody actually going in there and it needs all that in there. Like I hear so many things, So it's one of those that just it made me mad. And Ceedro, are you doing backgrounds on this one too?
Yeah, I'm doing like some ooze on what's it, like a 2 or 3 part harmony in the background.
And it's interesting because Ceedro's oohs and ahs are they are harmonizing with, I think, I don't know what the instrument is. It's that one of those spooky instruments, but he kind of follows it, and then
I'm so frustrated.
On top of it, on bottom of it, he's harmonizing. So it actually sounds like it's an instrument, but part of it is actually his voice.
I'm frustrated. All the way through. I'm frustrated by all that. I'm frustrated. I am frustrated and disgusted. The fact because I love when you can mesh of the vocals into the actual music and make it sound like an instrument. Some of my biggest idols are that. You know what I mean? They turn their voices into an instrument. Al Jarreau, the Shaka Khan, like they put their voices in there and make music with the music. I hate you. I hate everything about y'all. I really do. I despise that song is a fucking hit. You know what's funny? I feel like if you were to release it like as like do a video and shit, like that song is a hit. That song is a hit. It's short enough to be a hit. It's short enough to be a hit. It's too short. You need an extended version, but it's short enough. No, you think I'm playing? Go to some church in Atlanta, find you a trumpet player or a saxophone player, and have that motherfucker extend that shit. Put a poem in there. I mean, make it 10 minutes long. That's what they used to do, like back in the 70s. It would be like 5 songs on a record, and it was each like 15 minutes long.
15
That
minutes.
needs to be one of them motherfuckers. I'm telling you, it needs to be have like a part in the beginning where you talking to your baby. Yeah, baby, like I'm trying to pay the bills and keep my head on. Yeah, like right, like there needs to be an extended version of that song. Plus, you need to do a video for this shit. That song is a hit. It's a fucking hit. I'm done.
It's funny you said type in, baby. I know it's been hard.
Right.
But like back in the day when you had those talking romance songs.
Yeah.
The song wouldn't start for 2.5 minutes.
It's interesting that you mentioned, Damien, the vocal thing, because I traditionally I always thought male singers had to be tenors. You know, they had to be able to, all this stuff y'all do. And so it took me, I think song, you're right, I think song is one of those pieces where I'm really in my pocket as like a bass, baritone, like that's where I'm comfortable singing. And so I think that really comes through in the song. I felt very, very much like that's my pocket, and it's also me affirming that's where I do best, that's where I sing best. So.
It's so good. Your vocals are so good, and your little runs. You got some nice little tight runs in there. I ain't mad.
So just so everybody on the panel understands, and whoever's watching, like, so Timim is like the consummate artist, because every time he stepped into the booth, like 98% of his takes were just like spot on. The only differences was like, oh, well, maybe I should give a little bit more presence here, or maybe I should like give a little more power, or like tone it down a little bit or be preachy. But like every take was like, really, Negro? Like this is what you're gonna give? Like you're not gonna. So with this one, he like stepped into the booth. We played the track. You know, sometimes when you're starting a song, because the hook starts this one. So you know, like a lot of times when you start, it's like sometimes the start can be a little shaky or whatever. He was just like, "Hey, down with me." I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. Like I was geeking outside of the booth. But like it's been a pleasure just like working, because it's all good.
Well, I kind of want to have a question for everybody on the panel. Since we broke the songs down individually, what do you think about the album as a whole? And let's
well, you know, I'll say the one thing about this listening party. Well, I mean, there was gospel in there, so it's interesting. We played 5 songs of the project here, but I think it's a really good sampling of a lot of the stuff there. There's definitely some more house. You know, I think what's really interesting about this project, and I wanted it to be shorter because we'll have 15 songs and only 4 of them are good.
Right.
And I wanted a project where, like, I think, you know, as a pat myself on the back, I think as I've done more projects, I didn't want to have fillers, you know. And when I talk about iconography, I think the biggest compliment to me has been different people saying. So I had somebody the other day said, "Oh, Human is my song," right? That's not a song we played, but like for somebody, that's their favorite song on the project. For somebody else, Crush is their favorite song on the project. And I think for me, a testament of a good project is when if everyone likes the same song on your one project, then maybe it's not complete enough. If everybody only likes that one song, and so I think what's been a compliment to me is that, like, for so many different people, they have a different favorite song. And that's when I feel like, okay, you've given something to everybody can listen to and like. Right. So that's just kind of how, for me, that's one of the things I like about the project is that it does have something for everybody.
Okay. So let's go down and talk about everybody's final thoughts about the whole experience. Let's start with Ceedro.
Okay. It was a dream. It was definitely something that you always want to be able to do. You always want to be able to. Well, I mean, or I'll say someone like me is always want to be able to do. I always consider myself, a songwriter, much more than I consider myself a rapper or a singer or anything like that. So, being able to sit here and listen to each track or hear the vision of it. And I guess I didn't mention this before, but I also did the graphic design on the project. So the cover for the album, the cover for all of the singles, I also did those as well. So, like, being able to sit there and listen to the Damien. But being able to sit there and listen to the ideas and see everything come to fruition or not, I think is like a beautiful process to be involved with someone. Like I've done stuff myself, and most of the time I've done it pretty much mostly by myself. So to be able to sit there and have someone who's the main focus of the project bounce their ideas off of you, and you feel like you're actually able to assist, it's exactly what I want to do as far as like my music is concerned. I don't necessarily need to be a recording artist in the spotlight, but if I can help other people achieve their visions and dreams musically, like my life is set. So like it was just one of the foundation stones for that for me. So I was really excited for all of this.
All right. Damien, like your final thoughts on this whole experience?
Even though I feel so useless because Ceedro is all over this motherfucker, and I'm like on one song. But one song, I feel like, okay, I'm Kelly Rowland today. That's all right. That's all right. I'll be Kelly. I'd rather be Michelle. But the thing is like, he's working. No, but anyway, I think just being a part of this project and being asked to be on it, I first of all, I was dumbfounded that he even asked me. There's so many people he could have gone to be on that song. That there's so many people I know personally in the industry that he could have gone to, and he came to me. I had the feels, so it was, and I listened, I listened to the whole thing, and the one thing that I strive for is making cohesive records. You don't have to like every single song. You can pick and choose whatever songs you like, but I want you to be able to listen to it from top to bottom and get something out of it. It tells a story. It's going to tell a story throughout the entire thing, and this project is one of those kinds of projects where I can listen to it top to bottom. Are there songs on it that I love? Absolutely. Are there songs on it that I kind of like? Absolutely. But I can still listen to the whole thing without skipping because that song gets on my nerves, or ugh, I don't like that, or what is going on with those vocals? There's nothing on this project like that. I've bought a record where I was like, nope. It's like this is not one of those albums. It's a superb piece of art. I was actually going to ask who did the cover art, but and what? Like, listen, okay, so because the title, yeah, iconography was great, but then when I saw, because you had little pictures of something else at first, and I was like, oh, okay, but then when I saw the actual album. When I saw the actual album cover, because I'm a album cover whore, like I keep every single album cover that I have, every CD case, every CD booklet. I love that shit. I appreciate that shit. It's just not you sitting there on the cover like, it's that cover. Like I was sitting, you have no idea. I was sitting there trying to figure out how the fuck he did that. I was like, he looked like marble. How did you make him look like marble? Who made this motherfucker was like marble. Are you kidding? Like, and the way it's sort of chipping off, and it sort of looks like it's weathered, and it looks like it has, you know, it looks like a with an artifact or something like that. I was like, this cover is dumb, because your other covers, like, they cool. Like, I love them. Like, they're so, especially them last two, they're sort of they're real hip hop. But this thing here is like, I would buy. This is one of those I would see in the store and I would buy it just for the cover. I'm like, I don't even know who this is. I don't even know what a Timim is. I'm buying this because this cover is crazy. You know, that cover is crazy. I'm sorry, but I love the project. I wish I was on it more, because I am a total baby when it comes to working on people's projects. Chaos will tell you that. Mm-hmm. Like, I am a total bastard and a bitch when it comes to that stuff. Like, oh, you ain't want me on that song? You ain't want me on that song? Oh, okay. You could have called me. You know, I'm bad. So I was all the way in my feelings when I heard the rest of it, and I heard Ceedro all over it. And I'm like, but I want to work with Ceedro too. Why don't it? You know, so. But I love it for the fact that it feels mature. It speaks from a grown-up place. It's a grown-up talking about grown-up things. It's not a grown-up talking about child shit. It's not a grown-up talking about stuff that nobody cares about. It's a grown-up talking about grown-up stuff, and I appreciate that so much. Like, just for that alone. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
All right. Lawrence, what's your thoughts about this?
All going back to the first track, which is Iconography, and what Tim said about that hashtag grown man growing up. I think you kind of like set like a bar or a standard, because what I've heard out now is just a whole lot of artists trying to assimilate and try to be somewhat relevant regardless of what they're doing. When I first heard the album, I said I was able to listen to straight through because I can connect with with most of the things that was touched on in the album. From the first track to the second, first said, "This is who I am," to the last one, just brought it all the way back home. So it kind of like gave us parts of you. Parts of you is just like when people say, "Oh, this is my body of work." Yeah, this is literally your body of work in various parts. So this is how this one thing made me feel. This is how this made me feel. So we got to know you a bit better, or if we've been on that journey with you, we've seen the more refined, yet you're still growing. Just going back to that hashtag, you said grown man growing up. What a lot of people I don't get from a lot of people here. They try to be relevant. You don't do that just because you are relevant. The music speaks for you. So once you let this music speak for you, you can just sit back and laugh and says, "Yeah,
I'm coming."
Yeah, that's what it is. It says, if you want to know who I am, this is who I am. This is what I've been through. This is what I think. This is what, and all the topics are still relevant, still refreshing. Wanting to bring some of that stuff back to where, yeah, I did miss this. I did miss that. Makes you think. So that's what the album is to me. So when it says iconography, it's kind of play off of what I hear is a whole lot of humility. Humility, that's another thing, to be in that spot to where you are and still create music with those who you admire. Mm-hmm. So it's a back and forth process saying that, yeah, they consider me to be an icon, but I have to basically do the things like once I was hungry before and keep on doing it, because there'll be more appreciation. And what more appreciation is humility. So kudos to you, bro.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think what's interesting about this, I know we're coming to a close, is I was doing some tax preparation stuff, because when you put out a book and an album in the same year, I think the reality of it is that you realize I invested a lot more in this album. Like, I paid producers, studio time, and sometimes you realize with an indie project that you're putting a lot more into it than you immediately see right away. And so that's been interesting, as I've been like, wow, I invested a lot of resources to making sure this happens. But it's also like refreshing to be like, you know what? I have to remember this work is always new for somebody. You know, even when I think it's old or dated, I like that Damien mentioned the concept of videos, because I think the next phase with this album is to really create images and visuals. You know, a video for win, a video for song. Like, I really think that, you know, this work is going to continue to be new for a while longer. It's not like an album that's a Billboard topper and within 3 months it's old already. You know, indie projects have a longer lifespan, and so you know, I'm really happy we got a chance to even do this, because for a lot of people this is new work. You know, and I'm also hoping this can create other opportunities when Ceedro's project comes out. Even doing a similar talk back with Damien's project, which I would love to just be on as a consumer and an artist, especially the EP, because that project is just, you know. So hopefully we can have more listening parties.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
For all people out there that want to buy your album or want to buy your album, give them the link to where they can find it.
Oh, Damien, you want to chat in where you can get your link?
Yeah, just tell them
for the EP.
Search for your album.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I thought you were talking to him. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, the mushroom's trying to kick in. Wait a minute. So.
I never meant to give you mushrooms, girl. I never meant to bring you to my world.
You want me to? I got to put the link in here. Is that what you want? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You want me to do?
Yeah, for your new project.
Where do I in the chat, in the group chat, or like in the Facebook? I don't know where to put stuff.
Just put it in both. Put it in the chat, and then we can post it on the other thing. And then Ceedro, you should post your music page to both as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So, for all of your fans that want to follow you, tell them your social networks. Let's start with Ceedro.
Okay. Well, you have me on Twitter as just Ceedro, and that's Ceedro. On Instagram, it's The Real Ceedro. And on Facebook, it's Ceedro Drummond, which is my last name. Drummond, just like different strokes. If that makes it easier for you. But yeah, all those things.
Damien?
I'm Damien Nova pretty much everywhere. There's no deviation therein. I'm not that imaginative. It's Damien Nova, DAMIENNOVA. Google me, I'm on everything. Except I don't really pay that much attention to some of them, but you know, Instagram, Snapchat, I don't know, all that garbage. I hate it, but if you want to add me, that would be great. I hate it all. I prefer people go to my Facebook page and like it, and they'll get more information there, because I'm still on Facebook as much as I was on MySpace when Facebook started. So I think I'm still on MySpace. So yeah, I'm on all that. So yeah.
Okay. Lawrence?
Basically mine, I have Twitter, which is tweets in the key of L, so that's at TWEETZNDAKOFL. KEYOM. Facebook is Lawrence D. Goodwin. And on Instagram, I actually have 2 Instagrams, but mainly I post things for New Music Friday. Whoever's releasing new music, I normally post them on my Facebook. But Instagram, it's Boogie. That's it. Let me see. Well, I actually have 2. The other one is What's in My Ears, and that's actually spelled WHATSNMYEARS.
All right.
So you'll be following what's in my ears. So.
All right. Timmy?
Yeah, I mean, my website is Red Dirt Biz. which is also Red Dirt Biz is also my IG and my Twitter. But reddirt.biz is my website, which I'm actually going to be updating pretty soon. And then on Facebook, it's facebook.com/timm.west.theartist. So yeah, that's me. All over YouTube, iTunes, and we don't buy music as often anymore. But when you're an indie artist and someone buys your CD on Bandcamp, like I see the $9.99. And it makes me feel real good because I'm like, oh, I can get a sandwich. I don't know if people realize it really does. It comes in handy. When you get that little $9.99, you get that alert like, oh, somebody bought my CD. And for the big artists, they don't really see that. Like I think for the indie artists that put their own investment into it, we actually directly impacts our lives, and in most cases, we're just paying ourselves back for what we invested in the project. We're not making lots and lots of money off these projects, although that would be nice. So I think rather than just listening to it 5 and 6 times on Bandcamp, anytime people can patronize it, buy it. I even mentioned on Bandcamp, I have all 6 of my solo albums there. And I actually had someone recently buy all 6 of them. It was like, wow, he was like, no, I listened to one that I wanted to get the whole history of all of the music. So that was really dope.
I love completionists.
All right. Well, you can follow the Big Boy Project YouTube channel, and you can go to our Facebook page as well. Same name, all spelled out. So come check us out, y'all. I would like to thank everybody for joining us for this. This was so fun. I don't know if you guys had fun, but I had fun for this whole thing. And I was glad to do another listening party for any one of y'all if y'all are willing to do that. So follow them on their social networks, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye, y'all.
Have a good night.